Hey, this is the Phoenix broadcast, season 1, episode 2. All right, what's the one thing that every single soul on this planet can agree that they love, want, and need in order to survive? If you guessed love, go sit down. It's not that kind of show. Just kidding. We're talking about the next best thing. That's money. It's money, honey. Not in a cutesy manifest abundance kind of way. Not in the way that pretends money isn't one of the main operating systems of human life. We're talking about money the way we as a collective experience it. Because money doesn't just live in number of zeros. It lives in the body. It lives in tension. It lives in how fast our chest tightens. It lives in those knots in your neck. It lives in your jaw when y'all's grinding your teeth in your sleep. In that dimple in between your eyebrows that now makes you look frowny. This goes for 99% of humanity, though. It doesn't matter how intellectual we are. It doesn't matter how self-aware or evolved we think we are. It doesn't matter how much healing work we've done. Money still live in the nervous system. You know what we humans love to do, though, is lie to ourselves when we counter with something that only those of us who struggle would say to make us feel better. Money isn't everything. Yeah, sure, we aren't saying that it is. Yes, love is important. Connection is important. Nobody's arguing that. But money is essential for survival. Money is options, is access, is freedom and shackles. Like, we don't buy groceries with love. We don't pay for a roof over our heads with good intentions. We don't keep the lights on and the water warm with gratitude. If money were love, we'd all be rich as fuck. We wouldn't even be talking about this. So let's stop trying to make ourselves sound less superficial with the money isn't everything nonsense. Because anything tied to survival is clocked as everything to the human body. Like, we tend to think money stress is about numbers, right? And it's not. Our bodies don't experience money as math. Our bodies experience money as safety. It answers questions like, are we okay? Are we going to survive? Can we breathe? What happens if something goes wrong? So even if the numbers technically work, the body might disagree, because the body isn't tracking the present moment, it's tracking history. Because most of us were never taught how to have money without anxiety. We were taught how to earn it, stretch it, worry about it, need it, chase after it, grind for it, but we were never really taught how to let money just flow. So even in stability, our systems want more. If we aren't bracing, it's not enough, especially when we're not just responsible for ourselves anymore, but for our little humans too. So a lot of us didn't just grow up with money stress. We grew up inside survival systems like immigrant families, refugee families, families shaped by war, displacement, collapse, instability, where nothing was guaranteed. Rest was not an option. So staying grinding was how people stayed alive. That didn't just get passed down as a lesson. It gets passed down almost like a rite of passage. I mean, it's not, but we sure fell into it. Always had to hustle, struggle. If I relax, shit will hit the fan. That's not anxiety, that's actually conditioning. I mean, there's an association. Money as the root of all evil. Money is not power. Money is a proxy for power. Historically, before money, power was land, food, labor, protection, violence, resources. Money didn't create power. It standardized access to it. Money became powerful when humans decided it would determine who eats, who rests, who survives. That was a survival decision that never got updated. Money itself didn't corrupt people. Fear did. Money amplifies whatever consciousness is holding it. That's why the same tool can build hospitals and fund wars, feed families, and destroy them. Same money, different fear levels, different awareness. Money itself is actually neutral. What we attach to it, though, is not. Biologically, our nervous system don't react to money. It reacts to what money represents, like safety, threat, control, loss, access, status. That's why people with money can still panic, and people without money can live a fulfilling, joyous life. Okay, so you guys know that everything is energy, right? Like literally everything. And that includes money. Money is energy. Money represents expended human effort, time that was spent, labor that was given, attention that was focused, stress that was carried. Money is stored effort, frozen time, a receipt for energy already used. That's why money can feel heavy. Not because money is bad or evil, but because the body remembers what it costs to have it to survive. But this is where money gets moralized. If money represents effort, we start attaching meaning to how it is earned. Like who worked harder, who earned what degree, who suffered more, who deserves rest, who doesn't. That's when money stops being a tool and starts becoming an identity. Like in spiritual jargon, there's a name for this pattern, like a vow of poverty. A moral survival contract that gives, like having less makes us selfless. Struggling makes us hardworking and honest living. Ease is sus. Money corrupts. More money, more problems. If we give it away to help those in need, karma should reward us by giving us more, right? Wrong. Call it conditioning, inherited limiting beliefs, nervous system wiring, same results. Ease just feels wrong. Having more feels like greed. Letting money exist or come in without tension or stress feels almost illegal. If we aren't burnt out to have it, we don't deserve it. That's not lack mentality. That's an outdated system still running the show. And don't get me twisted. I'm well aware that there's a difference between money stress as conditioning and money stress as a reality. Trust that. They're not the same. Sometimes we aren't stressed because of belief. We stress because there simply isn't enough. Or that you've become a victim of a heinous act against humanity. You know, when rent is due, food is tight, one emergency could collapse everything. In those moments, anxiety isn't a flaw. It's like a biological response to reality. Survival mode is no longer a mindset issue. It is a nervous system thing doing its job. Both things can be true. Confusing them, though, is what keeps us stuck. And then there's this other factor that keeps us kind of trapped unknowingly. It's gratitude. Like, they sacrificed everything for us, right? That can be true, but still become a cage because gratitude turns into obligation. We don't rest because they didn't. We don't want more because they didn't have enough. We don't let money feel light because it was heavy for them. That's not honor, though. That's reenactment. And reenactment keeps the stress thriving. A collapse has a way of clarifying this real fast. When multiple systems fail at once, like identity, structure, stability. Let's call this the trifecta. Money stops being theoretical. It shows us what we think we're allowed to keep, what we believe we deserve, how quickly we expect support to be non-existent. And that's where the real pattern shows up. Money issues are often about permission. Permission to have ease. Permission to receive without guilt. Permission to stop proving worth through exhaustion. Positive thinking doesn't fix this here. Like affirmations don't regulate a nervous system in these situations. Our bodies respond to evidence that money can come without self-betrayal, that rest doesn't cause disaster, that ease doesn't make us unsafe, that having more doesn't make us immoral. Until the body sees that consistently, money will still feel charged, especially when there's enough. So what happens once we notice a pattern? Nothing dramatic, really. Awareness doesn't flip a switch. Insight doesn't cancel bills. The real choice is simple. Do we let the pattern keep running us automatically, or do we start interrupting it? Interrupting kind of looks like not deciding from panic, not justifying rest, not over-explaining money choices, not punishing ourselves for wanting ease over and over in small, unglamorous moments. That's how patterns break. So when we say make it rain, that's not a flex. That's about letting money become fluid, neutral, supportive, functional. Money stops being a moral test and becomes what it always was supposed to be, a tool. Tools are useful, creative, limitless.